In this video, we're going to focus on how we can create a clickable bar that when you click on it, it will match here the values. And this is absolutely phenomenal because we're going to change and make our chart more dynamic or making them dependent on each other. Pay attention to the title when we click on it. And you can see here it will change also these values at the same time, which is absolutely phenomenal. And this is a quite interesting topic, so it's time to explore how to do this right now. In this video, we're going to focus on one of the viewers' questions, which is how to create clickable bars that updates another chart in Chart.js. So this is a quite interesting question, which came from one of my other videos about creating a clickable bar chart with link in Chart.js. And in here, if we scroll down, we got a question from Kyle Maruno, and this is what Kyle said. So first of all, Kyle, thank you for asking the question, and this is what Kyle said. Hi there, I would like to know how to create a clickable stacked bar chart with Chartjs that shows monthly data, and when you click on a certain bar, it updates another graph above or below it to show the daily data. Can anyone assist me with this? Alright, so yes, of course, I will show you. So I responded here, but eventually I wanted to make very specifically on this because this is not a common question that I had before. And I think it's a quite good exercise. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to start, I will make eventually two videos. First video will be how to create clickable bars, and the second video will be how to create stacked clickable bars. Alright, so the real challenge here is basically to figure out how to create a click that can track where the click is located. Alright, so to do this, first of all, we go to chartjs3.com, and then in here, what we want to do here is getting started. In here, we're going to grab the default code. So I'm going to copy this entire code. And if you want to understand this code, please check out this video here. So what we're going to do now is going to just paste this in here. Once I paste it in, the next thing I will do is I'll just cut this out, put it in there. Alright, so I have the title, refresh, and there we are. So now we have this, and what I want to do now is I want to add up another chart in here. If we do it very quickly, we can just basically copy everything here. I'm going to copy this, and then after we do some tiny adjustments on here as well. So we're going to do this, alright, and then we say here data must be number 2. We cannot use this twice because we need to have a unique one here. I'll just simplify this here with just a single color here as well, so we know the difference. We can easily spot the difference here. Alright, so we have this here, and then the next thing what we need to do here is to make sure we have this data number 2, and we have this here data comma. Remember, because we have now a different data name, or the constant is not equal to data, it's data 2, so we need to change this. And then we have here the config, this one here, config2 equals config2. But this needs to be like this. Why? I don't know. It just requires it, or else you get an error. So if I refresh this, oh, of course it doesn't work yet. Why not? We have a item that we need to fix. This here. And this here, of course. So we have this chart constant is different, and of course the chart ID will be a different chart ID. So we go in here. I'm going to put it out there. So I'm going to paste that one here. ID number 2. Now we refresh, we have this. Alright, so it works. What I want to do is I want to reduce the size. Let's reduce the width here to 400. So now we have 2 charts here. Alright. So now we have this here. We have these 2 different ones, and just to make sure we see the real difference, I'm going to put in here just simple values in here. Oh, sorry, this is not the one I want to adjust. I want to adjust the other one here. So I'm just changing it all to number 3. There we are. Alright, so we have these differences here, very clear. So what we're going to do next is basically this. We want to have the data, and what we're going to do here, because you could do this many constants, we create many arrays, but I don't want it. I want, if we click on a certain bar, it must have a certain value. So the best solution for this is data structures. If you want to understand data structures, I have a video here about how data structures work, essential. I will not explain here how data structure works. Watch that video, but I will just create a data structure quickly here. And basically what we're going to do here is the following. We're going to have here this, we make sure we have this of that one here, and then we're going to put in here brackets. Alright, so every item here would have a certain bracket and a value. Here in this case, this will be Monday, because we have the label, which is the X value here. Comma, Y will be number 18. Comma, in this case, I'm going to use something else as well. Let's say we have the sales. So we have the sales of that specific day, and the sales of that specific day, you guess it, is an array. 1, 2, or let's say here 1, 1. Very simple. I'll just make sure that we have later on some differences here. Alright, so we have these here. We have these, that's 7 values, that is correct. Because, why? Because we have in our item here as well 7 items. So, what we can do here now is once we have this, we can put a comma here. We're going to duplicate this 7 times more, 6 times more, so we have this. Alright. So here, this will be 12, 6, 9, 12, 3, and 9. Here, we're going to grab the labels here. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and finally Sunday. Alright, so we grab all of this. I'm going to move that one here. And then here, what I want to do is here 0, 1. Alright, that's 1. That will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so then we should know the differences later on. Very important. Alright, so we have this now. We have our data structure already. And what we want to do now is start to trigger. Because if I save this now and refresh, you can see nothing really happens here. But behind the scenes, there's a lot of things happening as of now. And now what I want to do here is now eventually to track. And our goal here is to track the click. When we click on one item, this should be indicated which item or data that we clicked. And eventually that will be recognized, and then we can start to match this here. Because what you could do as well was to make a simple constant here with 7 different arrays, but that would not be clever. That's far too complicated and it is not matched to each other. So we're going to do here the right way. Alright, so we have now here the, So we have now here the right way. And the next thing what we're going to do here is the following. What we're going to do here is we're going to create a function here, and in this function we can call it a click handler. And what's a click handler? Basically a handler is someone who does a specific task. So we click, and when we click, it does a specific task, which is registering the click. Because what we need to know now is which bar have we selected. And this is extremely important here. Without this, we cannot show the matching value. So then we have this here. Then we're going to say the following. We will say a constant. And this constant will be the points, which is basically our data points here. And then we say here, my chart dot get elements at event for mode. So basically we're going to select or explore the click, and then we're going to search. When we click on a certain element, we want to get the or the certain event, we will get the matching element with that event. So basically when you click on this, it will understand that this is clicked with a matching element, and that's what we want. We want to know which bar have we clicked, or element, or bar, or shape have we clicked on. So in here, we'll say this will be done. Triggered on click, and we get the nearest, meaning we are here, and then it will understand which one it is when we are the nearest here, or basically on it. And the nearest will be, of course, matched with an intersect, because we need to intersect in the meaning that we need to be within this. So we'll grab the nearest, but we must be within the boundaries. How this is really calculated behind the scenes is basically with pixel amounts here. But it's really complicated, but maybe a theory for next time. But probably not really necessary to know, as long as you know how to make it work. So we say here intersect equals true, and comma, true as well. Alright. So once we have this, and then we say the following: if we get here if points dot length. So if there is a bar that we recognize, or the Chartjs recognize, we click on that we are on it, it should show us a certain item. So there must be points with length. So basically, it must get the data points here. So to understand this, we could do here very straightforward. Console log, and let's say here we can get this. If we click on that, all right. So if I save this now, let's see. Before I even do this, what we need to make sure is we need to have a trigger. We need to click on it. So the trigger needs to be recorded. So we say ctx.onclick equals click handler. So basically the function name. So basically what we say here is when we click on it, trigger this click handler function. It's this function here. CTX not defined. Alright, that's alright. We still have to work on this one, I guess. Here we have to do something more. Alright, so don't worry about it. I guess we'll do this later on. So what we need to do here next is basically this. We're going to check here what we have to do first. Let me double check this quickly. Alright, I already figured out, of course. So the reason why this is not working, I was just thinking, what am I missing here? Because the function is outside here. So this is correct, but it doesn't recognize the CTX right now, which is eventually canvas. And the reason why it doesn't recognize, we need to break this down here. Alright, so we need to change this a little bit so it will solve it. So what we're going to do here is basically this. We can say a constant CTX equals, separate this. Alright, and then here we could do eventually this, copy that one. Alright, so what happens now is basically this one here is being recorded independently, and then it will start to do this here. So if I save this now, I should see here a correct response. There we are. So there is a response. So what happened is basically this was not registered yet. So we had to break that down. That was the only thing that I forgot. So sorry about that. So make sure you have that one as well. So now we have it all working here. The length is recorded. And you can see if I click here, it doesn't record anything. If I click on here, it understands we click on a certain bar. Beautiful. So what we're going to do next is basically here we have now here the length. Now I don't want only the length. I want the official point here. So basically, we're going to say here points. Well, let's save this first and see if we click on this, we get now a lot of data. Alright, you can see here it always 0. It always records 1 point, as you can see. So it means there's an array of 1 item. Alright, and the reason is for this is just very correctly because there is only 1 point on the bar chart here, even if you would have a stack bar, and I will make that video separately. Even if you have a stack bar, when you click on that specific bar, it's only 1 bar. It should not be 2 bars on each other. Unless there might be a specific chart, but I don't believe that should be the case. Maybe on a line chart, it might. But bar chart, definitely not. Alright, so what I want to do here is I just want to go to the point 0 first, so we can go more deeper. So we say here point array 0. Refresh now, click on this, and now you can see we get this one. Did I save this correctly? Yes. Now you can see, if you go in here, we get here a lot of information. And if you look carefully here, you can find all the information that we eventually need. And what we really need here is, and this is the reason why we did the data structures. We need this here. You can recognize now here, number 4. So am I correct? If I click on this one, it should be 0. Or the last value should be a 0. Am I correct? If you click on this, you can see here it's index 0. Alright. And then we go here into the context. Then we go to the raw. And we say here the last value is 0. Which is correct because the red one here indicated 0 here. Alright. So you've probably guessed what we're going to do now. We're going to connect these charts together. So how are we going to connect them together? It's basically this here. So first of all, let's figure out where we get this. Alright, pay attention here. We have element dot $context dot raw dot sales. Alright? So in here we say dot element dot $context with an X, remember? Dot raw dot sales. Alright, if I save this now, refresh, click, there you are. We get now everything we need. Alright, so how do we combine this now? Because now it will be fun. Basically, all we need to do here is to understand how we update a chart. So basically, which chart do we want to update? We want to update the second chart here. So I'm going to grab this one here. I'm we're going to say this here, and then we say here dot. What we want to do is we want this data points here being shown or overwrite this data set here, or this data in the data set datasets. All right. Or sorry, when I'm saying in the data or in the data set data. All right. Don't get confused. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to do it. So we start at my chart. So if you look at it from my chart, we need to go to config number 2. Config 2 dot. All right. So we're going here. Now we are here. Where are we going? Well, we're going to the data. All right. And the data might be data 2, but the object is called data. So we say here data. And this one here, the object is called config 2. Very important to remember. Or I think even config, I realize. But we have to see on that one. We can check it later on. And then what we need to do is we need to go to the data set. Data sets with an S. And remember, this is a bracket here. That means that this is an object array. So we have here this array dataset 0. And finally here we have here the data. Alright, so we say here dot data. Then we say this equal what exactly? Well, we will equal this value here. And just say this equals that. Alright. Once we did that, we say my chart dot update, save, refresh. If I click on this, alright, it doesn't work because it cannot find the data. Alright, fair enough. In this case, apparently this needs to be number 2. I'm surprised, or we need to remove the number 2 here. Although I'm surprised, I thought this should be then config number 2, but it gives an error as well. So this one maintain like that, but this one should be config. There we are. Are we updating it? Apparently, it's not yet updating. Alright. So what is going on here? Just quickly, did I save this correct? Data set, my chart. Oh, alright. So the reason why it doesn't update, of course, we didn't put update this one. This is the constant for chart number 2. We want to update chart number 2. So now, try again. There we are. And as you can see here, we get all of these numbers here. That's it. So we can even change this. This 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. If I save that, refresh, press on this, press on that, there we are. You can see now we get all of these items here. So we could, and I realized maybe you wanted to go even deeper. Alright, we could update something else as well. Let's do one more thing here. So let's say we have these here. These are the sales. But maybe they're different divisions, so we want to change this weekly sales here as well. Alright, so this is a bonus exercise. So we can say here, title or anything, doesn't matter, give it anything you want. This is a string value, and let's say here this is the IT division or something like that. IT. Then we have another one here, comma. This would be food. So let's say this is maybe a big conglomerate or something like that. This is drinks. And here, stocks. We have here cars. And another one would be trees. Anything. Well, nature is always good. And of course, let's say fruits. Very healthy. Save this. Alright. So how can we match this now to make sure that this here eventually updates the label as well here? Well, it's actually the same methodology here. Basically, we grab all of this and we have this here. So if I go and refresh now, and if I click on something here, you will see now, oh, we have all of this, alright, so we get this one, but what we need to do here again, we go to the points, and probably you will see here, in the raw, we will get now another one. If I save this, refresh, click, we get the raw, and now we get the title. Alright, so that's what we want to do now. So we're going to say here, the following, I'm going to copy all of this, I'm going to paste it in here, and then we say here the sales that we had here will be the title. Alright, so you should understand now what I'm doing here. Next, what we want to do is here, the data set here needs to be removed, or this needs to be fine-tuned to, what I'm going to do here is not the label, but the label here. Data set, label. Alright, so then this will eventually change here. With the data set label, alright. If I save this now, let's see. Click on this, IT department, food department, stocks, cars, trees, roots. Alright, so now we have everything here basically for how to fine tune a bar chart in here. And this is absolutely wonderful to connect two charts in one. Think about a dashboard or something like that. This is absolutely phenomenal. So if you enjoyed this video and maybe you still want to go more deeper, I'm going to repeat again. Please check out data structures. Data structures is very powerful in Chart.js, and what I did here is just a fragment of what you can do. There's so much more what you can do, and this is just a nice glimpse of it. Understand this from top to bottom. Watch this video here. It's called Understanding Data Structures in Chart.js. One of the most important parts that many people don't understand in Chart.js.